everyone, welcome back to the kitchen, and today we're gonna start things off right by doing a steak rub, a Hungarian style steak rub. This one is inspired by the ingredients and the flavors of my favorite pride of Szeged Steak Rub that you all know I love, but sometimes I have a hard time finding it, even online, at a price that I'm willing to pay. So it's time to come up with my own blend. Let's go see how this all comes together. Today we're going to make a Hungarian style steak rub. And the reason I say that is because you all know how much I love this Szeged style seasonings, and the steak rub to me is second to none. But there are a lot of you who can't get your hands on it, and for when I run out, if I can't find it again, I kind of wanted to develop my own version of this. This is a little different from a typical steak rub, a Montreal style steak rub, what have you. This is really got a lot of Hungarian influence in it. And it all starts with some salt. So I have, you'll see it's mostly equal parts of all the main ingredients, and then half of that amount of the things that are going to give it that punch of Hungarian flavor. So we have 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. Now I'm using kosher salt. You may choose to use table salt, but if that is the case, you're going to want to use half of that amount because table salt is much more finely ground and it's going to give a saltier flavor. The same for Himalayan pink salt. 2 tablespoons of cracked black pepper. 2 tablespoons of good quality Hungarian style paprika. 2 tablespoons of onion powder. Granulated onion powder, 2 tablespoons of granulated garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of minced dehydrated onion, and 2 tablespoons of minced dehydrated garlic. Now here's where it gets fun. A tablespoon of celery seed, which is kind of unusual for a steak rub. A tablespoon of dill seed, again, a little unusual in a steak rub. And we're going to round it all out with a tablespoon of red pepper flakes. Now I wanted to point out that when you get red pepper flakes, it's not just the seeds of the pepper. It's the whole pepper that's been dehydrated and then flaked. So you get these punches of peppery taste, and they taste just like a sweet red bell pepper. And it's delicious. Now sometimes you get hot or whatever, but it's the seeds that have the heat. The flesh, the dehydrated flesh of the red pepper is delicious and flavorful, and it's also going to mirror the paprika that we have over here, and it's going to bring everything all together. That's how simple this is. You know how we do my spice rub. We're going to fold it up, turn it into a shoot, and we're going to pour it into our pint-sized jar. Make sure you count all of your tablespoons so that you have a jar that's large enough to accommodate all the ingredients that you're putting in there. Now, it looks like a sand painting. Remember when you were kids and you would do a sand painting? It looks like that now, but we want to get this nicely blended up. So I'm going to just put it in the jar with the lid on it and give it a good shaky, shaky, shaky. And you want to make sure you look at it because you want everything to look like it's incorporated well, that it's a good blend. And then every time you use it, you're going to want to give it a good shake. I want you to see how this looks. Now I'm going to show you, here I have a jar lid here. I'm going to show you what the Szeged steak rub looks like. Theirs has a lot more salt than mine does. Theirs, I would say, is 75% salt. Mine is not. That is a personal preference, but you can definitely see the red pepper flake. You can see the celery seed, which are kind of small. You can see the dill seed in there. And so I am going to give this a taste and see if it compares. And I also added more onion powder and garlic powder and more onion flakes than I thought they did. Mine is good. I've spent all morning kind of dissecting their blend. Theirs is a lot saltier than mine is, but it's, oh my gosh, mine is really good. I love their steak rub. I really do. But like I said, it's getting increasingly more difficult to find at a reasonable price. I refuse to pay $10 for this, period, end. This is going to do the trick. If you like it with no salt, leave the salt out if you're salt restricted. If you like it saltier, add more salt. I like to season things as I go, and I think that the 2 tablespoons of salt that I have put in here is going to be sufficient because the person eating the steak at the time that they are served, they can add more salt to their plate if they choose.
I can smell it. It smells amazing.
It tastes really good. Very, very close. I won't say that I hit it spot on because I embellished mine just a little more and I don't have as much salt in there. Now because this is a commercially produced product, of course it's gonna have a bit more salt in it because salt is cheap and spices are not. So you have to keep that in mind. This is also a great way to use up what you have in your pantry if you are a spice collector like I am. Sometimes it's difficult to make your way through those spices quickly, but if you make up jars of this and you go to every barbecue that you're invited to this summer and you take a little jar, maybe not a jar this big, but take a little jar or put it in a little packet or in a little box or something, and as a hostess gift, they're gonna love you for it, they're gonna use it, they're gonna tell you how amazing it was, and you're gonna blow through your spices and you're gonna be able to replenish with fresh ones. So that is how I made my dupe or copycat of my favorite Szeged Steak Rub. And that is how you can too. You've been able to find a link to the recipe down below. You can go ahead and print that out. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe, and if you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you are new to my kitchen, you wandered on over to see what was happening, welcome. Always a pleasure to have new friends join me. Please be sure and hit that subscribe button. And as always, if you're a tried and true member of the Noreen's Kitchen family, be sure and hit the bell notification button so that you will get a notification on your smart device or a message in your email box every time we upload new content, because we don't want any of you to miss out on all the real food for real people, real easy recipes that we present all the time right here on our YouTube channel and straight from our kitchen. I hope you give this Hungarian style steak rub a try sometime soon, and I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.